Member for Mulca, what is your question?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The question to the Attorney General. The media just reported reporting a 15-year-old girl was held in the watch house cell by herself for 3 nights and 3 days over a weekend after being arrested by the police. This is not an appropriate response to the child. For why has funding not been provided to ensure that the bail hearing can be assisted? Young people when they are detained over a weekend, this is a child and someone that should be taken care of, not by themselves, left alone in an adult house. Where is the government's duty of care?
Attorney General.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member for Mulca for that question. And I did hear that same story in the media, which is quite sad, really, that we have youths who are committing crimes who need to spend some nights in the watch house. But what the most sad thing about that is, member for Mulca through Madam Speaker, is that we have children out on the streets committing crime. We have young people out on the streets breaking the law. And of course, if they're breaking the law, the police are going to catch up with them, Madam Speaker. They need to be dealt with. We have seen an unprecedented crime crisis over the last 8 years left to the new government by the Labor Party. And it is absolutely shameful. And there were so many youth offences that I don't think anyone could keep up with all of the youths that were out on our streets causing a lot of problems. So my message to Territorians who are young and out on the streets that do not want to spend a night or 2 nights in a police watch house is to not go out at night and break the law. They should absolutely stay at home and be safe. We don't want our youths out and about in the middle of the night.
Order. Member for Guyula.
Breaking the law and then getting arrested by police. We don't want that. We want to address the root causes, which is what we've been talking about right throughout our election campaign. In fact, for 4 years in opposition, we were talking about addressing what we need to do to fix the crime, to reduce crime, and our youth do actually play a big part of that. It's a conversation we absolutely have to have. There are youths out on our streets every single night breaking the law, which means that they will be picked up by police and they will spend a night in the watch house. And that is not okay, because it is not okay that they're out in the streets in the first place. The work that we've already done since coming into government is starting to make a difference. We have the Minister for Children and Families now bringing forward the circuit breaker, Madam Speaker, which intervenes into young people's lives and their families to ensure that they can lead a life which is meaningful, fulfilling. They go to school, they have the right services they need, and they can have a life that is meaningful with good jobs. So, Madam Speaker, that's fantastic work that's happening. The other thing that we did when we first came to government, we actually moved Territory families, which we now call children families, out of the correction,
Minister,
out of
take
youth
your
justice.
seat. Member for Johnston, what is your point of order?
1110 relevance. The member for Mulca asks, where is your duty of care to these young people? Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Guyula, you're on a warning. You are on a warning, member for Guyula. Continue, Minister. In silence.
Madam Speaker, I was saying that we moved youth justice out of Territory families and put it into corrections because we needed to ensure that we could address the youth crime problem. The other thing is that over the last 8 years, Labor did not invest in our corrections or invest in our justice system, putting the system at breaking point. So we had police out arresting people and then our prisons full, our watch houses full. And it was an absolute nightmare, Madam Speaker. We're putting actions in place to turn that around. Our corrections master plan is well on track.
Time has expired.